Hi, Dan Burnham here with Jet 10 Tuning, brought to you and sponsored by Beck Musical Instruments. This video I want to cover the core E9 pedals and knees. We talked in the introduction video, give you just a rough overview of it. But pedal 1 and 2 is equivalent to pedal 2 and 3 on the day setup, or pedal 1 and 2 on the Emmons setup. We'll start out on the 8th fret, and we'll go to strings 3, 4, and 5. Oh, that's pretty well standard. If you play a day setup, you're gonna land. You'll start out on pedals 2 and 3 anyway for your core work, and so it is here. And I mean, it works just the same way, and that works the same way. The pedals 1 and 2 are basically the ones you will use for this. The next thing I want to explain, this tuning does not have a C pedal. And the reason why, if you want to get your C pedal, you have to make a grip change, but we'll stay in C. So I grab strings 1, 3, and 5. Hold pedals 1 and 2 down. Let off. So when you go to that change, it'll be 1, 3, 4, 5. 1 pedals 1 and 2 down. 1, 3, and 5. Slide up 2 frets. Okay, the next one will be the left knee left. This was not on Julian's original tuning. This is something that I added, and we'll stay on the 8th fret. It lowers the D sharp or E flat. It lowers it down to a D. And so that's how I use it. That's just for basic coloring. You're doing a slow song, you have a pattern. And we'll go into, in the courses coming up where we focus on specific pedals, we'll give you examples of how to use those patterns. Next one would be the vertical, which the vertical raises both E's. On string 4 and string 7, they're raised. And also, it raises string 8 from a C sharp to a D. So let's look at that. We'll be in F, in the key of F now. We're going to have pedals 1 and 2 down. Or so how do I use that? Here's how you use it. If you're going from a 1 to a 4 in the key of F, it's a transition, but you know, if you play steel, you know how you like to use the raising of the E's, and Julian put that on the vertical, and that's where it's at, or where it is rather. Now moving on, there is an extra fill pattern on pedal 3. I skipped this. I want to go back to it. It's I call it a coloring. It raises the first string, and it's used basically for this riff here. It's something that you're not going to use all the time, but you have the option. So it gives you an option, but it's close in the area with pedal 1 and 2. So, you know, if you want to raise that for whatever lick that you might use, you have that option. Now we're going on to the next one, and we did the left knee left. Left knee right is used. It lowers it will lower the E all the way down to a D. Julian used this. A lot of guys that played his tuning had half stops, and his co-pedant shows half stops, but while talking to Don and even with Sierra, they did not put half stops on his strings. So where would you use it? Or am I that easy to forget? That's where he used it, but so the left knee right lowers the E to a D. Now, this is where the Jet 10 has some changes. Julian split them, and by that he would the left knee left would lower from the E to an E flat to a D. And then on down to the D. On the Jet 10 tuning, not a lot of guys have an ear to do half stops without actually having a physical half stop. And so what I did, I added to what Julian did. On the right knee left, he lowered the E, 7th string E. He would split them up. Left knee right lowered the 4th string E, and the right knee left would lower the 7th string E. So I went ahead and lowered the 4th string E and the 7th string E together on the right knee left. Now, what becomes interesting here is the right knee right. And the right knee right, what it does is it raises the E on string 7 to F sharp, or an F rather. And raises the C sharp on string 8 to D. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. It raises the E to an F sharp on string 7, and string 8 raises the C sharp to a D. Now how would you use that? Well, when you're getting into the 6th mode, and you would use that as a transitional phrase. So it's used to transition from one chord to another. It works very well with blending, going from E9 to E6. And so that gives you an idea of the core E9, and you can you can merge everything. And from right there, I'm in F. I'm going to go to B flat, but I'm going to use a 7th. No floors, they're just the right knee right and hitting strings 7, 6, 5, 4. And as you can hear, that's the typical sound, especially when you're dealing with the C sharp and the open tuning. You hear those chords mainly from Zane Beck, Curly Chalker, and Julian Tharp. So that gives you an idea. I hope you've enjoyed it, and this is just a demonstration in the core of the E9 setup. So I appreciate you listening, and just keep moving on to the next video. Thank you, and I want to thank BMI. Have a good evening. Bye.